Jun Ji-hyun's name has always been synonymous with glamour, success, and the glory of K-dramas. She is a beloved icon, from My Sassy Girl to My Love from the Star, especially among audiences in China. It's no exaggeration to call her one of the most influential Korean actresses in Asia. However, September 2025 changed everything. Her new drama, Tempest, which was initially met with great anticipation, turned into a storm of controversy. Not because her acting was poor, not because her storyline failed, but because of a single line of dialogue that ignited the emotions of the Chinese public. That line was like a small spark that ignited a dry forest. Why does China prefer war? A nuclear bomb could fall on the border. From then on, Tempest was no longer just a drama. It transformed into an issue of politics, cultural diplomacy, and debates about nationalism. Jun Ji-hyun, the K-drama queen adored by China. Before the storm hits, let's take a step back. Jun Ji-hyun is more than just an actress. She is a living legend of the Korean entertainment industry. Her career, which began in the late 1990s, skyrocketed thanks to the film My Sassy Girl 2001, which changed the face of Asian cinema. Her popularity then reached global heights with My Love from the Star 2013, in which she played Cheon Song-yi, a character so popular that the fried chicken products she promoted in China immediately sold out. In China, Jun Ji-hyun is not just an actress, but a pop culture phenomenon. She is the face of luxury brands, a youth idol, and a symbol of elegance. It's no surprise, then, that when her name was announced as the lead in the political intrigue drama Tempest, the Chinese public had high hopes. However, those expectations turned into deep disappointment. Tempest, between ambition and risk. Tempest is not your typical sweet romantic K-drama. This series is a political thriller, full of international intrigue, diplomatic conflict, and the threat of war. Jun Ji-hyun plays Seo Mun-ju, a skilled diplomat who is drawn into the vortex of an international conspiracy. From the first episode, this drama has been serious, touching on sensitive issues, mentioning major countries, and even discussing nuclear war. This is where the risk lies. Touching on global issues, let alone directly mentioning China, means walking a tightrope. The slightest misstep, and the consequences could be fatal. And that's exactly what happened. A single line of debate. The fourth episode of Tempest was a turning point. In one scene, Seo Mun-ju Jun Ji-hyun utters the line, hand pointing right, why does China prefer war? A nuclear bomb could fall on the border. The line was intended as a reflection on geopolitics in a fictional world. However, the Chinese public didn't see it as fiction. They heard the line as a direct accusation that China was a war-loving nation. For a society that highly values its national image, the line was like a bullet to the heart. The social media platform Weibo immediately became heated. Thousands of comments condemned the drama, calling it political slander, provocation, and even an insult to the nation. What started as a single sentence escalated into a major storm. Visuals that make the wound worse. It wasn't just the dialogue. Several visual elements in Tempest also exacerbated the situation. The depiction of Dalian, a modern city in northeastern China, depicted with a rundown atmosphere, gloomy lighting, and filming locations allegedly filmed in Hong Kong. Netizens felt their city was distorted and insulted. Mandarin for evil characters. Several antagonists spoke Mandarin, seemingly associating evil with Chinese identity. The scene with the 5-star carpet, a symbol resembling the Chinese flag, being stepped on by a character, further infuriated the public. Li Bai poetry recitation. Jun Ji-hyun recited a classic verse by the great Chinese poet, but her pronunciation was deemed incorrect. For some, this was evidence of a lack of respect for Chinese culture. All of this combined to fuel the controversy. Chinese netizens' anger explodes. It didn't take long for public anger to turn into a movement. Weibo flooded with hashtags like boycott Jun Ji-hyun and Tempest insults China were trending. Ratings plummet on the popular review platform Douban. The drama only scored 4.2/10, despite initially high expectations. Brands shaken La Mer, Piaget, Louis Vuitton, and several local cosmetics brands in China hastily removed Jun Ji-hyun's face from their ad campaigns. Most ironically, netizens who once called Jun Ji-hyun a goddess now labeled her a traitor. Agency defends, but the public doesn't believe it. Amidst the storm, Jun Ji-hyun's agency, Peachy Company, finally broke its silence. They asserted that the ad cancellation had nothing to do with Tempest. According to them, some brands had indeed ended their contracts before the drama aired. However, the Chinese public didn't believe it. In their eyes, the clarification sounded like a defensive excuse. To netizens already seething with anger, the agency's statement was just foam on a big wave. Brands in a dilemma. For international brands, this case has been a costly lesson. On the one hand, Jun Ji-hyun is a global icon, an elegant face capable of selling high-end products. But on the other hand, the Chinese market is a colossus that cannot be ignored. Therefore, many brands have chosen the safe route, removing Jun Ji-hyun from their advertisements, at least temporarily. This phenomenon shows how fragile the world of international endorsements is. A single scene in a drama can shake up a multi-million-dollar contract. Analysis: the thin line between art and politics. This controversy raises a big question: to what extent can art be separated from politics, fiction versus reality? The dialogue in Tempest is actually part of fiction. But in the era of social media, the public rarely separates the two. What is said on screen is considered a reflection of the creator's opinions. Korean soft power versus Chinese nationalism. K-wave has long been a tool of Korean soft power. But this case proves, if not careful, soft power can backfire. Symbolic sensitivity. In one culture, stepping on a carpet is merely an artistic gesture. But in another, it could be interpreted as an insult to a national symbol. Long-term impact. For Jun Ji-hyun, although she remains a superstar in Korea, her popularity in China could be permanently damaged. Public trust will be difficult to restore. For the K-drama industry, producers will be even more cautious. Cultural consultants may be required if depictions of foreign countries are involved. For Korea-China relations, this drama may be a small spark, but it's enough to strain the cultural relations between the two countries. Tempest becomes a real storm. The title of this drama, Tempest, means storm. Ironically, the storm is not only happening on screen, but also in the real world. Jun Ji-hyun, once hailed as a comeback queen, now finds herself at the center of an international controversy. The dialogue that should have spiced up the story has instead become a diplomatic wound. This storm will likely subside with time. But one thing is certain: her legacy will always be remembered. And the entertainment world now knows that, in this era of globalization, a single sentence can turn love into hate, admiration into boycott, and drama into international controversy.